It's 5090. That's why HFO is here. It's 5090. It's 5090. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Look at that sound straight off the bat. How are we all? Wobby, good evening. Riaka Music, good evening. Noirjaya, Belinda, good evening. Welcome to episode 12 of the 5090 show. We're into the dozens. Housekeeping, because I always do housekeeping. If you're watching on Twitch, then please follow me. If you're watching the edited version on this, which will be significantly shorter because I say so an awful lot, as well as umming and erring. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello, thank you. Please click like, please click on the little notification bell to find out when I'm doing this again, and please subscribe. Right, that's the boring stuff out of the way. I has been making notes because it's been an interesting few days musically. I've been very busy. As Wobby knows, we've been undertaking a super secret project. I've also been doing a whole bunch of collaborations with people. In fact, big shout out to Fuzzy, who has remixed one of my tracks. And if you go over to the 5090 site, if I just open this in a new tab, it's called Too Many Rabbits, Not Enough Holes. And yeah, why don't I just play it for you, because it is weird. So remember down the rabbit hole about me being distracted and being distracted in distractions. So it's the inception of diversions. What Fuzzy did with it has taken it in an entirely different direction. So this is what it sounds like. Join me down the rabbit hole. 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 What a surprise. What a surprise. I get diverted. Will arise, and detours inserted. My plan has capsized, but I'm not disconcerted. Join me down the rabbit hole, carried away by a novel idea. Suffice it to say, there's no need to cheer. Just accept the delay. Join me down the rabbit hole. If I'm struck by a thing, I'm gonna see where it leads. the way that I roll. These things can turn on a dime, so I am still in control. Join me down the rabbit hole. 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 So at 4 minutes, that is almost twice as long as the original version. But Ryako Music absolutely nailed it. Joined me down the Relia hole. So H.P. Lovecraft would have loved something like that or have been creeped out about it. But that was really good. Steve, good evening. Lane 5 King says, I like that. Thank you. One other bit of housekeeping, which I forgot, and I have to lean over because the monitor with all my information is way over here. I have new followers. So hello to Amiga 6000 and yet another Wigber, Justy. Good evening, Justin Roby, and thank you for following me. And Wobby evening for either way. Oh, right, talking to a brother. So, how's it going, everybody? Are you having a good week? If you're doing 5090, then by close of play today, you should have 44 songs under your belt. And I'm rounding up. It's actually, you should have 43.88 songs under your belt. But we don't do decimal points on 5090. So, even if you haven't got 44 songs written by close of play tonight, if you've got one song written, that's one song more than you would have had written if you hadn't taken part in 5090. And that's kind of the whole point. Good evening to Atitlan as well. I see you've also joined us. Hello, Array of Emotions. Hello. So yes, we're going into the final stretches, as Array of Emotions said. I've been busy, so Wobby and I have been working on one thing. I've sent off the contribution that I've made to Exquisite Corpse H, and Fuzzy is busily stitching that together in Fuzzy's Squamous and Rugo's Eldritch Editing Sound Labs, which, yes, probably doesn't do too much to delve too deeply into what goes on in Fuzzy's lab, but you've just heard the results. Absolutely blown away by that. So very, very pleased, and thank you, Geordie, for doing that. So, yeah, other than that, I've done a corpse, done done a few other bits and pieces, but none of them's kind of ready to play to you yet. And what that's ended up meaning is that as of right this moment, I'm one off making 5090 for this year. And I've got, as I say, at least, well, certainly three pieces of music in the pipeline and a couple of sketches as well. So that's probably going to easily take me over the finish line in the next couple of days, I would think, which is rather nice. If you're doing 5090 and you're watching the show, Wobby says, wow, well done, Chris. Thank you very much. If you're watching the show and you didn't watch Thursday's show, and I know most of you guys were here, but I'll recap just in case. If you're into making music with digital audio workstations and you don't like spending money like me on gear, then how about a free, chaotically weird synthesizer called Pendulate, which you can download for free from the Eventide Audio website. It's interesting because, as I explained on Thursday's show, it doesn't work in the way that normal synthesizers work, with just having a sine or a square or a triangle or a sawtooth oscillator waveform. Instead, it models the oscillation of a coupled pendulum. In other words, a pendulum with one weight there and then another extension and another weight at the bottom. So it's almost impossible to predict where it goes, but it's easy to compute mathematically. It's what's known as sensitivity to initial conditions, and it's rather brilliant. So if I give you a very quick demo, let's go to this site. I want plugins. It's called, what's it called? It's not called Stocas. There it is. So it's a 64-bit plugin, so it works in most stuff. And even off the bat, just straight away, it just makes wonderful noises. They're incredibly complex and they evolve. And as I raved about it on Thursday's show, there is just so much you can do with it. So, Pendulate is the name of the game. That's available as a free download from Eventide Harmonix-ish show. So, yeah, very, very worth. There's always something, isn't there? I've just knocked my notes on the floor. Very, very worth your time installing, but be warned, everybody I know who's downloaded it has been playing with it until the early hours of the morning, because it is very addictive. And when you start tweaking it and understanding how it works, for which show on Thursday explains in much more detail. That's up on Twitch's archive for the next 60 days. It's also on my YouTube, which has a playlist of all my 5090 shows. So you can watch them all and go slowly mad as I get more and more distracted. But winter is very definitely drawing in. I've just noticed it's absolutely pitch dark out there and it's 9:15. So tonight, what I thought I'd do, and yes, it's going to be Chris doing his training stuff again. I thought I'd talk about another aspect of making stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just tweak me volume levels so you can hear me right. Here's this week's 5090 Show guide to the songwriter's secret weapon, which of course is now getting you hooked because you want to know, ooh, secret weapon, I want to know what that is. Array of Emotion says, is it booze? Might be. Ryaka Music says, wedding DJ strikes again. Yes, especially for Array of Emotions. So let's crack on. As usual, this is my take on a complex and highly subjective topic. I might be completely wrong, so please feel free to disagree. This is just what I've found works and what I like. What I like doing that people seem to respond to. Ryaka Music says the secret weapon is caffeine. Now that is actually probably closer to the truth. Certainly in my case, the amount of cups of tea I've eaten today and Garibaldi biscuits. Yes, I bought biscuits this week, so fight me. So the songwriter's secret weapon. You've written a song. You might even have recorded it, but you're not finished yet. Oh no, not by a long shot. Because what you now have to find out is whether the song works or not. You've got to listen to it, and you can't be precious saying, well, this is just a record of how it was at the time. You've got to be tough. And this is something that for many years I wasn't. And it was only when I started being tough on my stuff that I started making improvements. So first thing, solo the vocals and listen all the way through. Do they work on their own, without backing, without tricks, without Nectar 3 or Vocal Synth 2 or Ozone or Neutron? Does the vocal work? And this goes also back to last week's show talking about meter and scansion, and we'll cover that again in a minute too. Does the contour of the melody in the different sections work? And where you've got melody, you've also got the chords behind it. Are the chords you've chosen helping the melody or not? Does everything make sense? Ryako Music says Garibaldi biscuits are practically fruit, so they don't count. Steve Lane 5 King says, part of your 5 a day, I reckon. Well, I'll take that. Does the song flow smoothly or crash about? And this really, in my case, is about pre-choruses, because I've discovered and realised how pre-choruses make the verses flow into the choruses so much more smoothly than if they're not there. So does every part of the song flow? Does one bit sound like it's in the same song as the next? I know several fairly immensely popular bands who quite often will stitch 2 songs together that had different origins, but they do it in a way that the 2 sections flow smoothly. They don't sound like most of the time, they don't sound like 2 songs cut and pasted together. Unless it's Bohemian Rhapsody, of course, which is just the best bits of about 73 different songs all stitched together and just all happening at the same time. Are the song's dynamics working properly? Does it build? Does it build in a way that supports the melody and the lyrics and everything? Are there enough verses, or are there too many? Is the song fast enough, or should it be slower? And do you get to the point of the song fast enough? Louis says, hi guys. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Say hi back. So if you find stuff that doesn't work, then the whole point of tonight is you can fix things. So worry not. Chris is here as the song doctor to help you fix your things with the songwriter's secret weapon. So you can fix the parts of the song that don't work. You can get rid of extraneous noises. You can get rid of those awful bum notes. You can get rid of flubbed lines. You can get rid of wrong words. You can get rid of wrong entire sections. Here we go. What is the songwriter's secret weapon? Dun, da, 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 suspense. Well, it's simple. It's editing. You're all, at which point everybody's going, oh, is that all? If I'd known it was this sort of show, I wouldn't have watched, blah, 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 blah. The point is that you can redo things. Editing allows you to redo the lead in, the vocals, the backing tracks, and the solos, and the fade out. At which point, talking of lead-ins, as we are, I have to say that lead-ins, especially counts, really just irritate me. There is only one person on this planet who is allowed to give a count in, and I have his most famous count in here. So let me just play it here.
Mine's wide drive here.
And without the click track,
Mine's wide drive here.
which is Lemmy from Tear You Down off Motorhead's classic 1979 album Overkill. Can't believe they brought out Overkill and Bomber, two of the most classic heavy metal albums of all time, in the space of a year, but they did. Ryako Music says, damn it, my next guess was going to be Meth. No, we're not at that stage yet. Or if 5090 went on for another month or two, it's anybody's guess what could happen. But do you need a lead-in? I don't think you need a lead-in. Just start the damn song, for goodness sake. And you can edit it out if you've got one in. You can do stuff to vocals, backing tracks. Just because a song's finished, it doesn't mean everything's set in stone, is what I'm trying to say. And you know that it's not set in stone. But I am occasionally hearing stuff on 5090 this summer that really could have done with a decent half an hour's bit of editing in the DAW to make it so much better than the version that got posted on the site. Aim 5 King says, or in my case, Wobby had to do lots of editing when she tried to get me to sing. Mate, in my early days of singing, I had to stitch together, and we'll cover how I did it, but I had to stitch together, up to about 6 or 7 attempts to get one workable song vocal out of it. Text edits, you've listened to your song. Does it make sense? Does it flow? Does each line scan? Yes, we're back to scansion and meters. Can you be more consistent? Are there ridiculous numbers of syllables in 1 or 2 lines? Like I said last week, if one of your lines suddenly crashes into having half a dozen or a dozen more syllables than anywhere else in the song, change it, edit it, get rid of it, do something that flows. Why? Because, well, will you be able to sing it live? Will you even be able to remember the lyrics live? And then not just text edits, but sound edits. You need to forget, like I say, being precious about it. Well, this is just a record of a performance. No. You need to forget saying, well, it's just a demo. I don't need to be fussy. Look, what's a demo for? All right, it might be at the bare minimum that your demo is only written for playing to friends to say, hey, look, I did this song. What do you think of it? But demos are also used for instance, giving to other musicians to learn how to play live, or to get people to listen to the rest of your music, saying, well, yeah, this is my latest demo, check it out, then check my other stuff. It's there to give people an idea of what the proper recording would sound like. And in a lot of cases, it's there to convince a record company to spend money on developing that demo into something marketable that might end up in the charts. And in all of those cases, why wouldn't you want it to sound as good as possible? Leaving in flubs, leaving in kicking the microphone, leaving in the cat being sick in the corner. Just, it's not fair on the listener. Never mind you. And Bobby says, haha, I was just thinking if I didn't do the things Chris is saying no to, I wouldn't get anything posted. Oh dear. But there are quick and dirty ways of making stuff a lot better. And that's kind of what we're going to cover tonight. Editing is how you turn your song demo into something that will sound as good as it can do. And that'll do usually means I can't be bothered anymore. So don't go down that rabbit hole. Get it fixed, get it done. And forget about, well, people will get the idea. They will if they keep listening, but, if your vocals wander off into the distance, or there's loads of hiss, or there's loads of mistakes, then they may stop listening, and that's kind of not what you want to happen. So go back and fix things. The good news is time travel is not necessary. You do not need a DeLorean. So how are you doing it? Well, your DAW should allow you to edit both audio and MIDI by cutting and pasting, by overdubbing, and by comping, and we'll cover what comping is in a minute, by punching in and punching out. And with MIDI information, you can also edit the note information, the velocity, the pitch of the note, the length of the note, and you can edit the placement of the note, which is quantization. So at this point, you're probably saying, yeah, but I can't afford a DAW. Well, as I've already covered in this show, yes, you can, because there are free ones out there called Cakewalk. Cakewalk is entirely free. You just go to the BandLab website, download BandLab Assistant. Ooh, we've got a new version. Yummy. We'll cover that in a minute. So it's going to be, I've updated a lot of VSTs since last time. But so as I've shown you already on Cakewalk, you can record stuff. Let's try. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So we've got a bunch of vocals. The only trouble is that there's a cough in the middle of it. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Which we don't want to happen. So go to edit mode. Here we go. Set loop points. So, there we go. Set punch points. So look at that. So what I'm now doing is that I'm going to record on the same track, but even though I'm going to let the track play from the start, it's only going to record in from 301,480 to 304,480. So what these loop markers, or the punch in and punch markers, mean is turn on the microphone and turn off the microphone. So rewind to the start and then hit record again, and I'll do it again. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And if I rewind again now, when we play it back, hello, 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 hello. I fixed the cough. So it is that easy to do stuff. Let's turn off the punch in and out. And I want to show you another thing that you can do. Robbie says, well, going back on my bad that'll do habits, I do edits all the time as well. Chris, have you seen the take lines? Ah, right. Okay. No, I haven't. And yes, they're under there, aren't they? Where I can't actually see them at the moment. Take lanes provide an alternative method of viewing and editing overlapping clips on... Shift and T. Oh, isn't that clever? So now so now this is useful because this is what comping means. Because comping is building a track from composite recordings. So I might like the first hello, hello in the first track. So what I can do is, is not that. Right, I'm going to switch over to Ableton because I'm stalling here and I don't want to waste your time. So let's do the same thing in Ableton. I've got rid of Lemmy. Let's enable this track. And then we'll record it. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Now this time what I can do is I can split a track up and then I can literally drag it and repeat it. Hello, hello. 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 Which is fine, only it's not on the beat, because if I now play this on the click track, hello, 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 hello. So it's woefully off. However, editing means that you can change stuff. So if I just drag those out of the way, and we'll focus on the first one. I want it to start on beat bar 2. So play it. Hello, hello, hello. So that O is on the beat, isn't it? Hello, hello. So now, hello, 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 hello. So now I can just cut these into bits, shorten that, move that so that it's on the beat, which it isn't there. So I zoom in so I can be more accurate about where I place it to about there. And then we do the same with the next one. Zoom in again. And you get the idea. I'm just changing stuff by dragging and dropping it. But what that's doing is it's making the song flow better. And those actually aren't far off being on the beat. So let's just, yeah, that's close enough for government work. So now, hello, 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 hello. So play from the beginning. Hello, 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 hello. And I can get rid of those versions. And now I can copy that version. So let's give it another listen, because there's something wrong, isn't there?
Hello, 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 hello.
And what it is that second one starts too soon because it should be on the next beat. So I just move it all by dragging with the mouse. And now when I play it,
hello, 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 hello.
no, I was wrong. So Control Z. Something's bugging me about it. What is it?
Hello, 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 hello.
I know what it is. It's that second one starts too fast. And that isn't a problem either, because in Ableton, I can actually warp stuff. And this is when you start getting seriously twisted into your music. Because what I can do is I can alter how fast that sample plays by changing where key points of it arrive. So if I loop this, I want to loop that bar. Listen how it changes.
Hello, 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 hello.
Try it again.
Hello, 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 hello.
That's better. So yeah, Riaka Music says it's the rhythm of it. And yeah, that BPM is so fast. And again, now your DAW might not be able to do this, but this is one of the amazing things about Ableton is if I consolidate this, which just means make it one thing. Right, and now I'm going to change the BPM of the entire track. I don't need that bit at the end. No, it's not going to do it. So let's, it should do. I'm going to scroll the BPM down.
Hello, 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 hello,
Which is now
hello, 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 hello.
So you can see it's now slower. I can make it even slower.
Hello, 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 hello.
So what Ableton is doing is I'm just using complex. It has various different warping algorithms for stretching or mangling or slowing down or speeding up material without changing the pitch. So with Complex Pro, it sounds like this.
Hello, 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 hello.
So the editing potential that you have in your DAW for making stuff fit is actually immense. And it's worth checking out, being able to do stuff, see what your DAW can do. So we've done punching in and punching out. So comping, you might say, let's go back to Ableton. What do I mean by comping? Okay, let's take that track and duplicate it 3-4 times. I'm going to get rid of the actual audio. So I'm now going to record the same thing. I'm going to make 4 attempts at recording it, basically. So we start with number 2.
Hello, 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 hello.
In fact, let's start from the beginning because that stretched version is really throwing me off. And again, if I was doing this normally, I'd have my headphones on. I wouldn't have the click track going on the speakers because the mic will pick it up. But you get the idea. So I'm going to record again. So we'll record the first one. Whoops. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And then have another go. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And another one. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And you get the idea. So I only need one vocal take, and I might decide that first hello, hello, if I solo it, is more on the beat than the others. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And so I like that first bit. And if I compare it to this track, hello, 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 hello. So I think I prefer that. So I'm going to make the top track my final track, and I'm just going to drag it into the track. And I don't like that bit, but I liked the way I said the hello, hello at the end. So I can just drag those into there, and then I can turn off the other two tracks. I can keep them. And the other good thing is because all this moving and shuffling about is what's known as non-destructive editing. What it means, if I change the end bracket of this loop, its original version is still there. And the same if I drag the beginning bracket of this loop, the original recording is still there. So I'm not losing anything by making edits like this. And in the end, I get one track that I'm happy with. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. And that's comping. Now, you might think, yeah, okay, that's a pretty involved way of doing it. Okay, so here's another way of doing it in Ableton, which is really useful. So again, we've got our punch in and punch out markers. These are also used to denote a loop in Ableton, and I can turn on the loop. So now when I press play or record, Ableton will play the first 4 bars, then it'll go back to the beginning and play them again. And why is this useful when you're trying to record multiple takes? Because, and Riako Music says, I totally do this. I couldn't do it. Certainly when I'm playing guitar solos, I just do this obsessively, because what you do is you start recording and this is what happens. Hello, 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 hello. Right, so I need 6 bars. We'll do it again. I'll delete that, just so you get the idea. Hello, 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 hello. 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 So a whole bunch of recordings. But the thing is, although Ableton is only showing me one loop or one instance of the loop, if I drag it over here and again using those loop braces and unfold it, it's actually recorded all 4 takes. And because they're on the grid, what I can do is split them into 4, and then literally I can assemble four versions, and I can play them all back at the same time. And again,
hello, 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 hello.
So 2 ways of comping in Ableton. You can use whichever you like, but comping lets you choose from more material than you would otherwise have access to. And it's a great way of going back to a song, editing it and making it a little better. So cutting and pasting we've covered, because choruses and per verses repeat, and you can do it on a bass line. I might have a bass line where I flub one part of a beat, but if I've played the bass line somewhere else in the next chorus correctly, I can just repeat that bass line and cut and paste it into the error ones. So that's not all. And I've said so again, didn't I? You may decide that your song needs major surgery, and I've done that this week. All is not lost. Wait, what? Editing allows you to make changes to a song or a track within a song's lyrics, tempo, melody, accompaniment, rhythm, you name it. You can do the lot once a song's been recorded. So if I go, that's interesting. It doesn't normally ask me if I want to delete stuff. Right, the chat is now full of people, of course, saying hello. Thank you. Well, hello to you all. So again, remember the markers: verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. There's a lot of synths in here, and I think, was that guitar? Yes, that was guitar. So I've got guitars in this. So if I play you it, dear. And yeah, that's a bit shouty, so I might need to turn that down. Now, that's okay, but I actually don't like the melody in that section there. So, of course, what I can do is, well, it's not of course, what I can do is pick the equivalent section from the previous verse, which starts there and ends kind of there, and I can just drop it in and maybe change that marker so that it more or less fits. So now and no faffing about, I was able to make a very, very quick edit that's actually improved that recording in seconds, because I knew exactly where to find the equivalent section in the previous chorus. And it really is that simple to make radical changes. Okay, let's get even more radical. Say I decide I want an extra verse and a chorus. No problem. Now what I can do, let's move that back to there. What I can do now, all right, I'm going to hold down Control. There you go. So now I've got 3 verses before the bridge, sorry, because the markers haven't moved. So I now have to move all the markers to reflect the new positions. But what I've done here is perform major surgery on a song, making it an entire chorus, verse and chorus longer. And how long did that take me? About a minute. And so the really scary thing is that you can't really hear the seams. And everybody in chat is now still stuck on hello. Ryako Music says that should be your last 5090 song challenge. A song with only the word hello, but sung and spoken in different ways. Would that include different languages maybe? I don't know. Anyway, we are getting off the beaten track, because what I'm talking about here is making changes to a song or a track. The lyrics, the tempo, the melody, the rhythm, the arrangement, the instruments, and the structure. And with most doors, say you've got something with a piano on it, and if I solo this, we've got pendulate in it. But if I very, very quickly change pendulate for a piano, and again, so this is changing the instrumentation in a song after it's been recorded. So I might decide that rather than the arpeggio, I want a nice grand piano. So what should we have? I think we'll have a German grand intimate room, shall we? So what's that sound like? I like that. So now when we solo this track and play it, it sounds like this. which is very nice, but it's an octave too high. So remember what I was saying before, you can edit the piano roll. So I'm going to edit it all at the same time by consolidating it. So it's now just one thing. So now if I open the piano roll on it, so this is all the MIDI note information for the entire song. Right, that's very nice, but it starts at A4. Let's take that down. Sounds like mice running over the keyboard. So now I've taken it down 2 octaves. So what does it sound like now? So I've gone from a bonkers synth to a sort of Beethoven piano sonata in less than a minute. I kind of like that, actually. As always, serendipity. I'm going to just save that. That's the sort of... call it Beethovenized, just in case. It might come in useful, it might not. But the other thing, of course, is I don't have to keep it as a keyboard at all, because it's MIDI information. The MIDI information can drive any MIDI instrument that I've got. So rather than the grand piano, what else have we got? We've got a bass guitar here, so if I swap out the piano for a bass guitar, it'll now play it as a bass. And again, I was talking about changing the tempo, so let's change the tempo because that's too fast. And it could probably do with being an octave lower, couldn't it? So it's now playing it at A0. So Atitlan 66 says, needs Spitfire Symphony Orchestra adding to it. Atitlan says, in S1, if you drag a new instrument to a track, it asks if you want to replace or stack the instruments. That's interesting. So this is Presonus Studio One. Ableton just isn't that clever. If you drag a new instrument onto a track with an existing MIDI instrument on it like this, it just replaces it. Bing. So I've now got an electric piano. And you see as well, I'm using the Cakewalk VSTs within Ableton. This is the thing about installing Cakewalk, even if you've got Ableton, is you get a whole bunch of extra VSTs to play with. And who doesn't love another VST to play with? You get the idea. You can hack a song about to a tremendous amount because you want the song to shine. You want it to be as good as it possibly can. You want it to flow. You want it to evoke a nice response from the listener. What have you discovered from this? Or more to the point, is there anything that I've covered tonight that you guys can use to make better songs. Atitlan66 says, some of the patterns for the Cakewalk e-piano are nice to use with a pluck synth or an acoustic piano. I haven't actually tried the patterns in that. I've used some of the bass riffs on the Waves bass slapper, which is a really, really nice electric bass guitar VST MIDI synthesizer. But yeah, what will, is there anything here that you can use? Is there anything here that you'll go, even if it's not counting 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning of your recordings? Atitlan says, I should make more use of comping. It is very, I couldn't do guitar solos without it, really. There are very few of my guitar solos that are just one take. So if I go to a recent set, so I'm not going to play you too much of this because it's not been released yet, but my guitar playing elbow was feeling pretty good this afternoon and I made full use of it. It's a bit tender right now, but I've got my brace on. But this afternoon I played a lot of guitar, as you can see, because apart from some Casio CZ and a Hammond and a Prophet 5 emulation, most of this is guitars. And if I play you, to avoid spoiling it too much, I will delete or I'll silence the vocal submix. And if you look at the guitars, if I zoom in, you can see that they are not they're not all continuous takes. So that one is, that one isn't. So there you are. I dropped in one set of chords there, and I think in the other one I actually redid the end 4 chords. So they're not single takes, but this is, see if you can spot the edits, even seeing where they come up on the recording. So it's pretty seamless, isn't it? And I'd just like to point out that I did that solo in one take because I am too cool for school. I really am. But again, in the early section, there are 2 sections for each guitar take there. That's one take, but that one's 2 takes. That one's 2 sections. And in this bit I was actually switching between 2 separate channels, and I do that as well quite a lot, also in vocals, I have to say. And at the end, so again we were talking about making structural changes. I didn't like the way that the song finished, so I tacked a bit on the end to just make it finish more nicely. So don't tell yourself you've got to be satisfied with the song when you've finished it and you've listened to it and something's niggling at you or nagging at you. Go back and change it. If it needs a grandiose ending or a guitar solo in the middle, go back and put one in. Atitlan says, comping in Studio One is like Cakewalk's take system. I use a lot of comping. It's pretty helpful, says Ryako Music. Atitlan says, recording right and left-hand piano as separate tracks is a common trick. Ooh, Oh, I might try that. That's not something I do. I tend to just, well, with the push, I tend to play most stuff on the push these days and then edit. So, is it this track? No, I don't think it was this track. I was editing something today, and this is how sad this is. I've edited so many songs today that I can't actually remember which song it was, but I did something today and literally had a section on loop and ran it. I think it might have been the organ on this bit. Yeah, I think it's this organ piece. I couldn't get the chords to agree with the bass line, so what I did was I just set the loop to repeat on this section, then soloed the organ until it sounded right. I went over and over that on these organ parts, and this set of chords here. And the other thing, you can audition them with this little blue headphone icon. I can just drag and draw or drag and listen. Until I was satisfied, because the track as I'd originally rendered it out was bugging me. And that's the thing about listening. Be prepared to be annoyed with what you've just made, because when you go back to it, you might decide it's not good enough. Ryako Music says, all my playing is poor, lol. It's not. And you're, as I always say, you have a profound innate instinct for orchestration, and your scoring sessions in particular really show that off. Attilan says, that statement was relative to my right hand. We won't go anywhere need absolutes as far as my playing ability is concerned. Yeah, me too. I fake it a lot more than I make it, even with the guitar playing. So to sum up, editing is about going back and making sure your song works. It means getting rid of the stuff that doesn't work. It means moving things that are in the way or that are in the wrong place, or you might need to copy them. It means improving things that aren't as good as they should be, and it might just be a flubbed note, or it may be that the words in a verse don't work, so go back and fix them. Don't be afraid to cut and paste, and as you saw earlier, markers are your friend. And don't be precious about your stuff. Be tough. It was only when I started being really tough on the stuff that I do that it began to improve. Because at the end of the day, you want to make the song and you want to make the demo better. And that's it. Thank you for watching once again, and thank you for heckling and chatting and basically just saying hello ad nauseam on the chat. Yeah. So, I just realised I've missed a whole bunch of chat because I'd scrolled it. So, thank you very much. Ryako Music says applause and hand clap emojis. I like it. So that's my take on this evening. Please, if you're a rookie, then people will listen to your stuff more if it doesn't have obvious mistakes on it. Belinda says, thank you for the music. Attilan says, we've said hello, so where's goodbye? And Steve says, that was a great education, and thank you. Well, that's very kind of you all. It's really because... Oh, Chris Hansen, hello there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing these because I want people's stuff on 5090 to sound good. I don't want your stuff to suck. And going back and being able to edit stuff, even if it's just slicing off the 1, 2, 3, 4, or even if you're Lemmy, the 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning of your track. Just, and to be honest, Tear You Down on Motorhead's album Overkill wouldn't be the same track with it, but your track would probably benefit without you going 2, 3, 4. And certainly it would benefit if you're using a phone or a handheld microphone or a microphone on a tripod, and you put it down while you're recording, so you get all the clonks and other noises from the mechanical interference of what's holding the microphone up with the microphone. No one wants to hear that. Get rid of it. It's easy to do. There are so many audio editing programs out there. Even if you've only got the final mix, you can do so much with that in Audacity. And I do. When I render a song out, even though I'm using, something like Ableton, and I have a fade at the end, so I control the volume, because on this track the reverb tails went on for well over a minute, and nobody, well, I'd listen to reverb tails that last over a minute. Other people probably wouldn't. Radio airplay, they're going to be talking even before the last chord has sounded. So get rid of it. And on this track, that's what that ramp there's for. That fades it down to 0 in about 15 seconds, which gets rid of all the whooshy noises from the Univibe that I got on a couple of the guitar tracks that were going. It also controls the reverb. So edit your top and tails. Make sure that what you're giving your listeners to listen to gets in, does the job, and gets out without anything extraneous. No, Ryako Music says, no one wants their stuff to suck. Exactly. That is exactly the message. No one wants their stuff to suck. So get yourself an editing program. Sit down and edit the stuff that you've already got and make it not suck. And a lot of you guys, well, all of you guys really do not need this advice, because your stuff does not suck. But your stuff does not suck because I know you guys do this, and you do this a lot. And everybody else should as well. He said, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So it's, 20 past 10 here in the UK. It must be 20 past 11 in Europe, and Belinda, I don't know what time zone you're in, but I guess it's late afternoon, early evening where you are. And Arcan and Co, hello. If you're in Vancouver or anywhere else, then you're going to be 8 hours behind me. But I will bid you good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And I'll be back on Thursday with more stuff. It's 3:22 p.m. Belinda says. Right, so middle afternoon. You've got the rest of the good afternoon in front of you. Excellent. I'm off to bed, I think. So I'll be back on Thursday with another Twitch live stream, which will be more about the music that I'm making. I'll be back next Friday for I kind of guess it will be the last 5090 show, because 5090 finishes a week on Thursday. Because a week on Thursday, it's the 1st of October. Man, it's the autumn equinox on Tuesday. It's time is going on. So we'll see what happens on Sunday anyway. So Array of Emotion says, did you say next Friday? No, week on Thursday is October the 1st. The autumnal equinox is Tuesday. So the evenings are drawing in as fast as they do all year at the moment. So have a good evening wherever you are, and wherever you are, wear a damn mask and stay sane, stay safe. Oh, Belinda says, I am doing Inktober. You and me will both do Inktober together. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it this year. So we'll cover that next time. And excellent. Ryako Music is doing Inktober too. See, look, we've been sidetracked in the middle of me saying goodnight, which is about par for the course. So I'm just going to say goodnight. Good night.